1791, enslaved people in a French sugar colony burned the fields, took up machetes and beat the armies of Napoleon, Spain, and Britain, but Western history erased it, and the reason why is darker than the war itself. You know the French Revolution. Liberty, equality, the storming of the Bastille, they taught you that one in detail. What they didn't teach you happened at the same time on an island called Saint-Domingue. Today you'd call it Haiti. Back then, it was the richest colony on earth. Not France, not England. A speck of Caribbean land smaller than Maryland was generating more wealth than all 13 American colonies combined, built entirely on the backs of 500,000 enslaved Africans worked to death growing sugar and coffee. In August 1791, they rose up. Not a riot, not a rebellion that fizzled in a season. A war, 13 years long, and they won it. Here's the part that should stop you cold. This wasn't a handful of uprisings crushed within weeks, like every textbook version of slave resistance you were handed in school. Under a formerly enslaved general named Toussaint Louverture, the rebels organized an army, negotiated treaties, and outmaneuvered European colonial powers on their own terrain. When Napoleon Bonaparte, fresh off conquering half of Europe, decided to reclaim the colony and restore slavery, he sent over 40,000 of his best troops. 40,000. More men than he sent to some European campaigns, and the island broke them. Disease helped, yes, yellow fever tore through the French ranks, but so did the fighters themselves, led now by Jean-Jacques Dessalines after Louverture was captured and shipped to a French dungeon to die in the cold. In 1804, Haiti declared itself the first free black republic on earth, the only nation in human history born from a successful slave revolt. And that's not even the strangest part. Here's what doesn't add up. If this was the only slave revolution to actually succeed, if it terrified every slaveholding empire on the planet so badly that Thomas Jefferson refused to even say the word Haiti out loud, why does it get one paragraph in most world history curriculums? You spent weeks on the Boston Tea Party. You spent weeks on the storming of the Bastille, a war that ended slavery outright. 30 years before Britain and 60 before America, barely gets a footnote. That's not an accident of curriculum space. That's a choice. And the reason for that choice is worse than simple erasure, because Haiti didn't just win its freedom, it got punished for winning. In 1825, France sailed warships back to Haitian waters and delivered an ultimatum: pay us for the loss of our human property and our colony, or face invasion and re-enslavement. Haiti agreed to pay reparations to its own former slave owners, 150 million francs, a sum designed to be impossible. To fund it, Haiti took out loans from French banks at crushing interest. That debt, historians now calculate, drained the equivalent of over $20 billion from the Haitian economy over the next century. Haiti made its final payment in 1947. 1947. That's not ancient history. That's within living memory of people's grandparents. The nation that freed itself through the largest slave uprising in history spent nearly a century and a half paying the very people it defeated for the crime of no longer being their property. Think about what that means for the story you were told about Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. That's the phrase, isn't it? Presented like a fact of nature, a mystery of geography or culture. It was never a mystery. It was an invoice. The poverty wasn't inherited, it was engineered, enforced by warships, and collected for generations. Teaching the revolution honestly means teaching the debt. And teaching the debt means admitting exactly which governments benefited, and for how long, and how deliberately the whole thing was buried under a story about a failed state instead. The United States didn't even recognize Haiti as a country until 1862, nearly 60 years after independence, because recognizing it meant admitting a nation of former slaves had beaten a superpower. Then, in 1915, American Marines occupied Haiti for 19 years and rewrote its constitution by force. So here's the question nobody answers for you. If the first successful slave revolution in history was buried this thoroughly, this deliberately, for this long, what does that tell you about the other uprisings you were told never happened at all?